invest in stocks and all that. There's a new term these days. They're called investorpreneurs. Investorpreneurs. And he's here because he has been doing this for the past 20 years, investing mainly on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange and also on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. So he has practical experience on the equities field. And during his spare time, he is a social media blogger, mainly on X, formerly Twitter, and on YouTube, where he uses such platforms to equip and to educate fellow investors with the experience that he has acquired over these years. And for his efforts, he was nominated as one of the finalists at the Capital Markets Awards 2021, which were co-hosted by the Business Weekly and Financial Markets Indaba, in the category, the Best Capital Markets Advocacy. And thank you so much for applauding. It's really worth applauding. He was also awarded a Gumigura Achievers Award in retail investment. Ladies and gentlemen, with a standing ovation, please do help me welcome our speaker, Mr. Tatenda Courage Nemaungwe. Come on, let's give him a round of applause as he comes and teaches us. Thank you so much, sir.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I would like us to just look at one scripture at this very moment, Ecclesiastes 9, verse 11 to 12. So I will read. It says, I returned under the sun. Are we together? Returned, which means he was there before, but someone is returning. Returned under the sun. I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, neither yet bread to the wise, nor yet riches to men of understanding, nor yet favor to men of skill, but what? Time and chance happen to them all. Lucky. No. Time and chance happened to Mr. Nemaungwe. Happened to Apostle. It happens to them all. The question is now, what do you do when your time and your chance meet along the way? What is time? Time is money. Yes, that's money. Time is money. You can't waste my time. If it was some funny thing here, I wouldn't be here because it's very important. That's why you're here. Time is money. What is chance? A chance is an opportunity. And what is an opportunity? An opportunity is the ability to have your eyes opened up so that you can see benefits which you can take up and make money. So you see, Apostle's job is very important because apart or despite from you just seeing with your physical eyes, there are some eyes where after being laid hands on, you start seeing which others don't see. And that kind of seeing, you don't see it with your eyes, you see it with your mind, what we call mind sight. Are we together? Yes. So time and chance happen to them all. Are we together? Yes. So if time and chance happen to them all, why is it we have wealthy people and poor people when all of them have time and chance happening to them all? The Bible is the most perfect book under the sun. It's a proven book. It's not just a piece of paper or only spiritual, it's life. So when the book of life is telling you that time and chance happen to them all, why is it we have the wealthy? Why is it we have the poor? How does this happen? under the same environment, we breathe the same air, we move on the same road with potholes, we drink the same water, we use the same currency, we are zigging. We are the same, but why is it we've got the wealthy and some are struggling? Why? So when you answer that question, why, you then go to the how to. The how to part, which we are all gathered here for. How to, these are strategies now. We'll get to the strategies. But firstly, we need to ask ourselves questions. Why? Because when you realize a problem, you've half solved it. Are we together? Am I correct? Okay, fine. So it's very important to understand that part. I would like also to thank, this one I deliberately left it, which makes this unit a function which is a moving function, becoming very successful as it is. I would like to thank one very important department to me, which might not be of sight to you. I would like to thank the cleaning department. And I know you are wondering, where is the stock exchange? This is the stock exchange. Would like to thank the cleaning department. I think before I just spoke, you saw me run to relieve myself. It's the cleaning department which makes it possible. We would like to thank the cleaning department. It keeps the place smart, hygienic. And why am I talking about time and chance happening to them all? And here I am now turning to the cleaning department. It's intertwined to my success story, which I'm going to share. Are we together? Yes. It was sometime in 1994, we grew under extreme poverty. I'm sure all of us, we know that. We could not afford toilet paper, so we would use newspapers to help ourselves in the restroom. You see where the cleaning department is coming now. So apparently my guardians at that time were so much interested in the political environment, and a newspaper has two sections, actually three sections. There is the political side, there is the business side, and there is the sporting side. So that business side is the one which was delegated to the toilet because we didn't afford toilet paper. So as I was sitting on the shank, helping myself, I would see these numbers. Price earnings ratio, Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, market capitalization. I'm seeing, before these numbers, there's a dollar, wobeka comma. I'm seeing these numbers. I'm like, this should be important. So that's where my time and chance happened to me, not to them all, to me. My time and chance happened when I was looking at that newspaper in grade 4. And I'm wondering, these numbers are money. Why are we using such important information for such a useless business? So you see, that's how I became so passionate. What are these numbers? I would ask my guardians, they say, no, don't worry, it doesn't matter, it's just numbers. I saw money. So you see, when your time and chance happen to you, you need to be very observant. You need to be very attentive to detail. You want to be successful, all of you, correct? To me, what is success? Success is a science of preparation, and preparation can be broken down into 3. The first thing, leaving nothing undone. The second thing, no task is too large. And the third most important thing for me, no detail is too small. Most of the time, the difference between success and failure, winning and losing, which we all want to do here, is the smallest detail, which I met in the cleaning department. Are we together? Right. So that's how I began my journey on the stock exchange. Out of there, I took out that newspaper, I started asking. And fortunately, I had an uncle who had a little bit of understanding about how it works. I asked him, he explained to me. Shares, when you launch your companies and they grow, and they mature. They graduate from the hustle on the side of the road to Pick and Pay levels. They will then be listed on what we call the stock exchange. And when they reach that stock exchange, they start being traded. Trading means you can buy and sell shares depending on what you are seeing on the board. What we call a board is a list of all the companies on the stock exchange and the issues which are there, which we are now jumping into. So that is how I began my interests, and then the passion grew for the stock exchange, and fortunately, it has yielded me to become where I am today. So there is one thing I would like to share, which happened to me, which also happens to you, but you people might not be paying much attention to it. When I finished my degree in 2010, 26 to 2010, I had no job. The story of everyone across the country, there are no jobs. So I would also do what came from that corner, hustling, for a start. So I didn't have any transport money, so I would walk from Marlborough, where I was staying, into the city center. And during that walk, I was alone. I was meditating, and I found myself doing something which I hear the apostles and prophets preaching today. I started prophesying to myself. I started seeing myself chairing board meetings. We were together as I was walking on that road, because I would see this as I was walking. So you start implementing in your head, because before it comes out there, it starts in your head. It's a mental challenge. Success, business, all these operations we have, this is a mental challenge. I was telling one of my friends in South Africa that you might be so successful, but the moment you strike $1 million, are we saying you're now going to eat 3 kgs of meat on a meal? No. You keep eating the same proportion. So it's purely a mental thing. Money is your mindset. Money is the condition of your mind, and that condition of your mind will then affect and impact the environment around you. Are we together? So as I was walking up and down from Marlborough, I was crafting myself, building myself, motivating myself. I was challenging myself. I was grooming my mind, because the moment you become successful, before you are mentally successful, before your mental conditioning comes to pass, that medulla oblongata needs to be in the right place so that you are able to contain that which is coming your way. So it starts off in the mind. The stock exchange, you want to hear, it's a mindset battle. Business is a mindset battle. Standing before you, speaking to you, is a mindset battle. Are we together? So it starts off in the mind. Then after that, I'm also reminded, in 2011, that's where I met my wife, Tandeka. I had 1 trousers and 2 shirts, net worth, the person is done. No phone, nothing. And you see some of these people, I don't know what they see. She fell in love with a person with 1 trousers and 2 shirts. And here we are together. Now in the millions. So, okay, so, right. So we would like to talk about capital. You can't run any business without capital. But the problem now is, before we go into capital, what is capital? Everyone thinks capital is the money you need to start a business. Yes, capital, money is part of capital, but it's not the entire capital. Are we together? You can have an idea that can be your capital. That idea, you approach someone with the financial resources and you're in business. It means that idea represents capital. You can have a strategy. I think we all know Professor Jonathan Moyo. That mindset of his became a strategy, and look where it ended him before 2017. He was high there because you have extreme strategies where everyone knows if they take you to their side, they are going to win. So strategy can and is part of capital. Their skills. As we drive along the way, you see people, they pick stones. They don't buy stones. Has anyone ever bought a stone? They pick stones, they hammer the stones, they create a sculpture. They sell it even to tourists traveling out of the country. They get money, what we call revenue. Business ratotanga. A skill can be your capital. You can be a middleman. I'm in fuel myself. We are looking for clients. We have the product, we have the logistics to push the product into the market. But there's some people who have no money, but they've got a very good mouth. They'll talk you out. So they'll speak to clients, they get clients, they come to you and say, yeah, I can take it up, I can take the product up. But they don't even have 10 zig in their pocket. So being a middleman, executing that role as a middleman can be your capital. You get it? So what I'm trying to say is capital is not only restricted and confined to money. So stop the habit of saying, I don't have money, that's the reason why I'm in trouble. Are we together? Yes. Fight to get to the top because the bottom is overcrowded. So you need to find yourself out. And there is no way on earth when you're going to make extreme money without being unique, without being, the brains behind an idea. So regardless of your situation, you have to fight to the top. The poorer you are, the more you need to put effort in fighting. Are we together? Yes. So that's just on the capital aspect. All right, so you need to start somewhere with what you have and where you are. Apostle, these children of yours read the Bible, correct? Yeah. What did Moses do when he was asked, I want you, man, to open up this water? He was stammering, huh? Because, no, what do you have in your hands? Why would God Almighty ask his prophet, which he handpicked, what do you have in your hand? You need to have something. Something. You have to have something. You have to have something in your hands. In 2011, when I was walking, doing that, I was sitting at the gate one day, meditating in my board meeting. I was even firing some non-performing directors. When I don't even have a company, I don't have office, but I was busy firing and straightening and, milking strategy, sitting on the gate there. And do you know what happened? One maid across the road walked out and said, you know what, I failed mathematics and I'm in trouble. I'm hearing Pick and Pay is coming into Zimbabwe. They're taking just 5 O-levels. I said, immediately I was in business. I said, hey, you know what, just organize 5 of you. I will teach you. You pass maths and you become a till operator. You will be doing this. I will make it happen for you. Just come, come here. In no time, there are 15 of them. And one of them had a house which was empty. Yeah, the husband worked Kuzupko. So they were being rented a full house. I said, you are not paying anything. When's my manager? Manager, I'm Padare. Because in the venue, we want to deliver at your house. Business has started. I had a job waiting for me, but I couldn't go there at Tetrad Investment Bank because I didn't have the money to collect my certificates at the bank, at the university, National University of Science and Technology. I congregated them. I opened up those brains and they all passed. I was getting $20 per person. In 2 months' time, finished off paying my certificates, paid my certificates, went with my certificates at Tetrad. I got the job at the bank. That's where I met her when I was working. That after then I met her. And from the bank, when a client would come, we were selling cards in the supermarket. When someone would come, I would say, a very good afternoon to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my stand. Merchandisers, you know merchandisers? No pickers in my shop where no but Rangora bank, Kwakwine Kingdom, Cell Card, and Imali, they were competing. I was Imali, it wasn't known. You know Cell Card, anyone? We were those people annoying you at the entrance. But when you come to my spot, I'll tell, thank you very much for coming through. You're going to bank with Tetra. And I would have a queue of people registering. In no time, I entertained one of the executives at the bank without knowing. And my usual self, I did what I did, explained it to him, as if I'm explaining the whole stock exchange, when it's a simple card, a retail card. That man said, no, you don't deserve to be here. The next day, I was wearing a suit in the bank, a personal finance executive, stepping into my glory. So after that, fast forward, in 2014, as I was at the bank started shaking. And it crumbled. So as it was shaking, I moved with my wife to Dubai. That was now in 2015, March. And net worth now, we were now holding $200. And we started commercial investment on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange. Right. We were just feeling the temperature. You know, Apostle, when you're standing in front of people, you can get stage fright. Eh? So all this I was saying, we're just feeling the temperature. Who's who here? You get it? Oh, you don't get it. Forget about it. Apostle gets it. Because when you're holding your mic like this, there is what we call cloud, a jacket which you wear in the spirit. So you're just checking, okay, fine. Is my heart pumping? Am I okay? I think we are cruising nicely. Right, so let's get into the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange. So in 2015, here I am in Dubai with my wife, and we started okay, before we got married, I realized, no, we could have a problem in this marriage where I want to channel resources on the stock exchange and I might face some resistance. So what I did is, sugar. So as we were dating, I introduced her to the stock exchange. She opened her brokerage account. She bought some Falcon Gold shares. They multiplied almost 4 times, which means she put in about $600. It became $2,400. That was my ticket to investment because no more arguments. We were in one accord. Are we together? In one accord. Correct? In one accord. Yeah. You see, you need to pay particular attention to detail. When you see those comrades, politically speaking, no, we want to move in one accord. You need to listen carefully. Because if you're not in one accord, you're putting that money aside for investment, you go, you do your strategies, you come back, voila, there's no money. Where is it? I've bought this and that. You need to move in one accord. So that demonstration of that profit made us be in one accord. And here we are today. So in 2015, thank God for her, because there are 6 ways in which human beings learn. The first one, you learn through your senses, your sense of taste. You taste something, you know, okay, fine, this is a guava. Are we together? Even if you close your eyes, you taste a guava, you know it's a guava. Why? Because you learned from your sense of taste. You learn from the sense of hearing. We're here speaking to you. You're writing notes, yes, correct. But you're hearing me. So you learn from hearing. You learn from smelling. When it's burning here, you don't need anyone to tell you that the house is on fire. You can feel the smoke. Are we together? You learn from seeing. You see something happening. The guy was driving in 200 kilometers an hour. The next thing is under the bridge, dead, gone, nothing. You see, this is not to be done. You learn from the sense of feeling. Yeah, you touch fire, you know what I'm talking about. Then the 6th sense you learn from is divine. Remember, as we were warming up, you know, me taking my stage, I spoke of having the mind sight. That one is divine. You learn via divine. So as I would learn reading books, reading financials and all towards the stock exchange, there was this most important way of learning through passion, that I'll just wake up in the middle of the night knowing things. Has anyone experienced that? Of course, Apostle, I know he has. Anyone else? It's divine learning. You just wake up knowing. You didn't read, you didn't feel, you didn't smell, you didn't see, you didn't touch. It's divine. And guess who the next audience is when you wake up 2 a.m. filled with so much information? Madam, I saw the $1 million it's going to do ABC. Hey, she started tolerating it at first, but it came intense and intense and intense to a point where she said, hey, my friend, you know what? I want to sleep. Open a WhatsApp group. Teach them. I'm not saying I don't want to hear, but teach them. That's how the hashtag Walala Wasala was born. I opened that WhatsApp group and I started delivering. So that's just how it happened. I just wake up and say, hey, Shamar, the money I saw. You see it first before it comes in your hand. Are we together? My sister, you were asking about how do you, okay, I'll rephrase your question. How do you commercialize your business? This is exactly what you were asking, correct? Yes, from a hustle to Pick and Pay. There are quite a number of principles which we will talk over. But one of the steps on commercializing your hustle, you have to have a vision which you see. You can't be on the side store for the next 10, 20, 30 years. No, you need to commercialize. And that ability or that skill to commercialize is what differentiates you between Pick and Pay and the little stores out there. So we need to commercialize. So when I saw that I'm now on the commercial space, what did I do? I didn't just wait there. I then approached one of my brothers here present, Mr. Nyamadzao, right in the corner there. And that time, I had so much I wanted to deliver, but I didn't know how to do it. Personally, I believe that writing notes on a piece of paper means you don't know what you're talking about. Up until I met Mr. Nyamadzao, like he was doing JCI, Junior Chambers International, and Toastmasters. You need a speech coach. You have one here present in this place. You need a speech coach. You know what you want to say, but you don't know how to say it, so you don't know anything. When opportunities come, your time and chance will never happen. Maybe visit the toilet like I did. You need a speech coach. Are we together? So these speech coaches, they sharpen your tongue, they teach you on tonality and the like, which is very important. Okay, so what is the stock exchange? The stock exchange is a platform where buyers and sellers of shares are also known as equities, meet and they have a tug of war on the price at which they buy and sell shares. Are we together? I'll break it down. And when I say I do the stock exchange, a lot of people talk to me of Bitcoin. They talk of betting. The stock exchange is different from Bitcoin. The stock exchange is different from betting. The stock exchange is that place where you control. Are we together? Control. Say control. Control, yes. You control the finances which are moving in the country. Are we together? Because for you to be here, a message was delivered to you via whose platform? Econet, which trades where? On the stock exchange. So when you get on the stock exchange, someone is selling Econet shares, someone is buying Econet shares. In the morning when you woke up, you had breakfast. The bread you had was from what? Baker's Inn, that's Insco. It's listed on the what? Stock exchange. You had eggs, that's what? Insco. Through what? Ivans, listed where? On the stock exchange. You had bacon, that's Qualcomm, listed where? On the stock exchange. Via who? Insco. That's the stock exchange. Are we together? You had tea, that tea, beginning of tea, that's Tanganda. Who is Tanganda? Tanganda is part of Mikos. Where is Mikos? Mikos is listed on the stock exchange. So all of you are participants on the stock exchange, but you just didn't know about it. Are we together? You're driving on the roads, you're seeing all these potholes, they need to be fixed. Fixed by who? By roads. Bitcoin is who? They fix roads with who? With Masimba Construction. Who is Masimba Construction? Is the stock exchange. You're driving your ex-Jap cars or your brand new cars, you hit potholes, you want spare parts. Where do you go? You go to Transfer. Who's Transfer? Transfer is under Axia. Who's Axia? Axia is listed on the stock exchange. So as you're selling your products, unema mango, ma tomato, onion, nechi, how many products do I have via the stock exchange? Are we together? Did you even think of this? You're having lunch, you have your SADSA, there's National Foods. National Foods is part of INSCO, that's the stock exchange. You want beef, you go to Texas butcheries. Texas butcheries is part of INSCO, that's the stock exchange. You want to have a drink, a bottle of water, you go there, it's either Nestle via Delta stock exchange. To all those guys who are not yet proper upstairs, they're still drinking out there. They're drinking and making money for who? For Delta. Delta is listed on the stock exchange. So all this economic activity is happening in your country and you're not participating, and you tell me that this economy is hard. Who's hard? Who's hard? No, I'm asking you. Who's hard? You're all wearing nice clothes. Edgar's is listed on the stock exchange and you're not participating. So who's hard? This thing depicts 66% of economic activity in the country and you're not there. And you're telling me things are hard in Zimbabwe. We left diaspora to come here to make money, and we're making money. So that's the stock exchange. So, what is it about the stock exchange? The stock exchange is as good as your business, Repamsik. You buy a product at a low price. Are we together? What's the intention of buying a product at a low price? Is it to sell it lower? I told you our seminars are interactive. Are you going to buy a product for $1, Apostle, so that you sell it at 80 cents? So you buy low at $1 so that you sell it at $1.50 or $2. Is that correct? That's the golden rule of the stock exchange. Please write that down. You buy low so that you sell high. Are we together? Is that not business? You buy what? Low, so that you sell high. Okay. I'm reminded of the issue of Adam and Eve, where Adam was now saying to God, I am naked. And then God said, who told you you are naked? Who told you that you are naked? Which means there is someone who has to tell you. In that case, it was the serpent, or whatever had happened there. The serpent, the forbidden fruit. Then they realized they were eyes which were opened. Now they knew they were naked. So on that golden rule, buy low, sell high, who told you that it's low? And how do you know that it's high? Apostle, that one question is what differentiates me from all other participants on the stock exchange. Who told you it's $1 so that you sell it at $1.50? This you don't get in university. I studied finance, 2006 to 2010. They just peruse through as you go. But you have to then focus on what you want to do. Finance is just like medicine. Some focus on the eyes, some focus on the bones, some focus on the heart, some focus on the teeth. In finance, I decided to focus on the stock exchange. Why? Because I wanted to know what is low and what is high. So who told you it's low? And who told you that it's high? Right. So that's where the strategies are coming in now. So the how to invest profitably on the stock exchange. It's not just how to invest on the stock exchange, but there is that word there, profitably. I gave you the answer. It's the golden rule. Buy low and sell high. Just like you do in your ordinary business, whether you're selling cars, you buy low so that you sell high. Are we together? So now, What makes you win for coming to this conference is who told you it's low. I will tell you how it is low. So, before we go on to how it is low, I think I need to really show you how this thing called a stock exchange will make you money. I'll give you an example of how money was made. I can see some are about to sleep, so we need to send something. In 2008, there was signed what is called a global political agreement, which gave birth to the Government of National Unity, which started off in 2009 up until 2013. There was CFI Investments. You all know CFI, they're into agro-feeds. I think their flagship company is Farm and City. We all know Farm and City, huh? How many buy in Farm and City? How many? They're not in farming, these children. Farm and City? Okay. CFI rose from 1 cent a share in 2009 to $1.10 per share in 2013. Let me break it down for you. You didn't get me. I said, CFI yakabva 1 cent, anditika taita GNU. Ikasvika kuchi $1.10. Kureva kuti akaisa 10,000 US dollars. Akatengesa yava 1,100,000 United States dollars. This is the industry I'm talking to you about. It has what is called exponential growth. So as you sell your products, be it hustling or in a business, there is a point where you reach the optimum level of operation. If you increase more energy, you start making losses. Let me break it down. And I always take some tomato, which you order at $20. But just think 1 million tomatoes, so that's where you need to come to the stock exchange, because it has what is called exponential growth. Are we together? So CFI moved from 1 cent to $1.10. 10,000 US dollars grew to 1.1 million US dollars. And they put up an ATM. A round of applause, please. Delta Beverages at the same time moved from 14 cents to $1.50. What do we mean? Somebody who put in $10,000 harvested $107,000. Are we together? There are people here in this country who are making this money. And they are out there. GD6, you think they picked capital somewhere. This is what they did. And this is what we want to demystify right now. I'm talking of 200. All right, so you need to do your thorough research. And after you do your thorough research, you need to implement what you've researched and harvest. You plant, you process, then you harvest. When you get an idea which is going to change your life, time and chance happen to them all, isn't it? Make sure you close your door like my wife says. Close your door so that people will not see what's going on, they won't enter. Why? Because a lot of us here are copycats. So I love one song which came through. I don't blame people for disappointing you. I blame yourself for trusting them. Trust nobody. Suspect everybody. Don't tell people about your vision. Are we together? That song keeps us to keep it to ourselves, process, You plant, you process, you harvest. After harvest, come with the results. Now start talking. Because we are copycats in this country. You are not innovative. You don't start your own things. It's not your idea. It's not your vision. You see this one selling that, you just copy. Yeah, you might make it through copying, but eventually, you won't have a story. Apostle, I made so much money. I rose from $200. Now I'm being a copy running. Would you invite me here? Stop copying. Are we together? Right, so do your research. Because if you have that mentality of copying and you come on the stock exchange, we're going to deal with you thoroughly. The Apostle, we don't play around. This is money, huh? Okay? Around in that place. If you come, we'll thrash you. So you copy, you come, we are going to teach you a lesson. That brings me to 3 types of investors on the stock exchange. We are going back to our golden rule. I just want you to have an appreciation of what we do. So they are what are called bulls. Okay? This is just flowery language. They are what are called bears, and they are what are called pigs. So the bulls, what they do is they wait for prices of shares to go down. Then when they are down, they buy them at how much? $1, so that they'll sell them at $2. So they buy low, so that they sell high. Are we together? Are we together? All right. Those are bulls. That's the first type of investor on the stock exchange because they're depicted through animals. Then there are bears. Now here I want you to listen to me very carefully. Bears, they come on the stock exchange. They borrow shares. I said they what? They borrow shares. Then they sell those shares. Because they believe that these shares are high. So they borrow those shares. Then they sell them. Then they get a value on their account. So for them, they owe shares. They don't owe money. They owe shares. And we are okweleta 100,000 Econet shares. Omatengesa. So anichikweleta 100,000 shares. Are we together? They owe shares. So when the share price goes down, they will use that money which they sold from borrowing to buy back the shares which they borrowed. So they make money when the price goes down. Imagine, when prices are going down and you are making money. Everyone here thinks business is you buy low so that you sell high. Here is someone who's borrowing high, sell those shares. When they go down, they start making money. They are called bears, right? Bears. No board meeting here and chikudza and I found it 14 kilometers ipopa. Tichenda ku town netsoka. Zvichiitika mupi? Those are bears. Pigs. Mandataurawo. They are copycats. They just come on Twitter and they look at this live recording. Nemango has made money on the stock exchange. They just come randomly in, buying high. They don't even understand. And we slaughter them. So if you're right. So how do you how do you invest on the stock exchange profitably? Okay, let's talk of the process. The process, you just have to do what is called KYC. Know your customer, KYC. You go to what is called a stockbroker, you open an account, you fill in your forms, you open an account, then you're able to buy and sell shares. That's the process. Everyone or anyone can do that. That is the process. Now, we want to get into the strategy now, the winning strategy. How do you profitably buy on the stock? How do you profitably make money on the stock exchange? We're getting into the strategy now. So I said buy low, sell high. Are we together? Under that section, buying low and selling high, there are tools which we use to see if this share is low or it's high. Very simple tools. Problem inoitika muupenyu unozonzi kuti uite mari zvakaoma zvisingaiti. No, chakaoma musoro wako kuti ubvume kuti ndinokwanisa kuita mari. Are we together? It is you. It is Oh, you want to blame politicians? They're not creating jobs. The currency is unstable. We can't even work. Yes, of course, that's correct. But business is a process of identifying problems and what? Are these not problems? Okay, so it's a process of identifying problems and solving them. So you need to identify those problems and solve them. Don't complain about problems. You're complaining about money. The bigger the problems, the bigger the money. Someone spoke of Econet here. Econet solved a very complicated problem. Now we can talk, we can WhatsApp, we can do this, all this. And they're making complicated money. You solve a complicated problem, you make complicated money. Are we together? Right, so how do you know the share is low? How do you know it's high? Okay, so there are two techniques which we use. The first one is called technical analysis. Write this thing down, please. Technical analysis. So, easy, matems. We will speak, in a uniform manner. But what it essentially means, technical analysis, we are looking at price action. I'll break it down in the very simplest way. If bread, I think my figures, but stock exchange, my graph. If bread was costing $1, then tomorrow it's costing $1.50. Is it cheap or it's now expensive? It's now expensive, eh? All right. So the bears will take the bread, sell it there, then hold the money. So that when it drops, they buy back the bread at $1. That 50 cents, they make money. So when it's $1, it goes to 50 cents. Is it cheap or it's expensive? It's expensive, isn't it? So do you buy when it's expensive? Huh? Do you buy when it's expensive? Done. That's the first technical analysis. Matter pass. Then it goes down. From $1, it's now 50 cents for some reason. Maybe there's a bakosi somewhere, or they're now selling at 50 cents. Is it expensive or it's cheap? So you buy. Same with the stock exchange. That is what we call technical analysis. The lowest price for Econet, for example, is 7 cents per share. Lowest price in history. Are we together? And 7 cents per share, Ukaona price yapa 7 cents, what do? You buy. And its highest price in history is $1. When it reaches $1, what do? And thank God for this government we have here. You know why? Because they pump in intrigue into the market. So I'll show you what technical analysis practically did just now. So sometime last year, the government came through and banned internal transfers among brokers. If I sell my shares, I call Apostle, do you want to buy some shares? He says yes. Then I do an internal transfer among brokers so that he buys shares. So that was banned by the government because these funds were not passing through banks. And the government was like, no, stock exchange, inflation. So they banned that. Then they introduced what is called capital gains tax. When you buy low and you sell high, it's called a capital gain. So they introduced a tax on that where if you sell 180 days Tzadzakwana, they charge you 40% of the capital gains tax. So what did people do? They panicked. And when they panicked, they started selling. And you found Insco, which I was telling you about, it trades at $1 a share. It dropped to 20 cents. Are we together? At 20 cents, is it low or it's high? That's its lowest price in history from before. So when that happens, you buy. There's nothing new under the sun. Kana isiko yakamboenda ku 20 cents yodzoka futi ku 20 cents ndiyo kavhesi iri kutaurwa apa mune muda kuti ndiite zvekuita sei ndiyo yacho iri kutaurwa ipapa apa. These are the practical. So it's when it's 20 cents, now it's 20 cents. Are we together? And we know this thing costs $1, but it's at 20 cents because the government came in. It stepped in. Are we together? What do? You buy. You throw in $100,000. And guess what? They then announced that we're moving to the Vic Falls Stock Exchange. Then it went back to $1. That's technical analysis, the practical aspect of it. When you're holding a share, you're holding Delta, you see it reaching $1 again. You sell because it's reached its peak. So as we spoke last week, I went into a trade. I was in South Africa, but we'll be watching the market. Are we together? the government introduced the new currency, ZiG. There was so much tension, pandemonium and all. We will be watching. That pandemonium, tension and all dropped Econet from as high as 20 cents to its lowest. It became 7 cents because of ZiG arresting money changers, so there's no liquidity going to the market, confusion, blah, 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 7 cents. We bought last week. And here you are sitting. I'm buying. You are sitting. I'm buying. You are sitting. I'm buying. I said you are sitting. And I'm buying. As of yesterday, it rose by what? 15%. What was our profit? You are sitting. I'm buying. That's 3 days for me. That's the stock exchange. That's technical analysis. It shows you this share is low. Okay. The second section, fundamental analysis. I want you to look at what we call the price earnings ratio. I want you to look at, so just write price earnings ratio, price to book ratio. I want you to look at dividend yield. Those are just some of the tools we use on fundamental analysis. So fundamental analysis, we are looking at the company, the balance sheet, the income statement, cash flow statement, notes to the financial statement, and statement of changes in equity. Those figures here, the symbols I gave you, price earnings ratio should always be 1. If it's below, price to book, so let's start with the price to book ratio. Price to book ratio should always be 1. We are saying the price at which a share is trading and the book value, the actual value, should always be equal to 1, because the price of the share and the book value at which it's trading should always be equal to 1. If it's not 1, if it's above 1 or below 1, there's an opportunity to make money. If it's under 1, simple mathematics, my equation, hey, ZJC O level, GCE, that's where we are. Price divided by the book value should be equal to 1. So if the price is, say, $1 and the book value is 0.5, you divide that, you get 4. You get 2. It's overvalued. Truly price yedu $1. As a book value redu ruti 50 cents. Urkunziwa motkari inoita $10,000. Asi ukaitarisisa haina engine, haina gearbox, it's worth 5,000. You auto budget 10,000, you are losing. Price over book should always be equal to 1. If it's below 1, it's undervalued. Above 1, it's overvalued. So you can imagine, Guti, technically, like I said, price action is below. Book value is below 1. What are you waiting for? Just strike. Are we together? And now I'm very confused. I got a board on my time. I'm almost up. And there's a lot. I haven't touched much on that. So that's how you know this is low and this is high. And this is what I'll be doing on Twitter every good day of my life. Are we together? Are we together? So what makes prices of shares move up and down? Obviously, it's the technical side of it, the fundamental side of it, but it doesn't end there. There's the political aspect of it. And our politics is fortunately or unfortunately intertwined with business. So policies from governments. You know, statutory instruments are coming out on a Sunday, huh? When you're relaxing at home. And you're like, what? This is the kind of political environment we have. So it causes so much intrigue, which can boost your position or diminish your position. So I think in the interest of time, I'll just give you this very important note. The stock exchange is the only business. This one you need to write down. This is the only business where you can never make a loss. Are we together? You can never what? How? Yeah, it is. You can't make a loss on the stock exchange. I wonder, how do people make... Okay, fine. This is how you can never make a loss on the stock exchange. I'll explain it to you. Very simple. Mukoba Bat and I explained business. So we use what we call the Indian Buffett strategy. You know Indians, huh? My India, when they make their money, they don't do anything else which is not core business. It's either he has a stock or he has a stockpile of money in his safe, period. That's the Indian strategy of doing business. So if you want to focus on the stock exchange, that's all you need to do. You either have stock in your business or a lot of money in the safe and you're done. So when you buy a share, let's say it's costing $1. With $1,000, you get 1,000 shares. Are we together? 1,000 divided by $1 is 1,000 shares. Are we together? Then those shares fall and go to 50 cents, which means your $1,000 which you put in is now $500. What do? You panic. Once you panic, you can't make money on the stock exchange. So your value has dropped from $1,000 to $500. But if you take another $1,000 and you buy again, now you're getting 2,000 shares, not 1,000. Are we together? You're benefiting from what we call the Ivan Fisher's quantity theory. Because on the stock exchange, you benefit from capital gains, buying low or selling high, or you benefit from quantity. You used $1,000 to buy how many shares? 1,000. Now you're using $1,000, you're buying how many shares? 2,000. So if you do the maths there, you used $2,000 to get how many shares? 3,000 instead of 2,000. So there's an extra benefit. It falls again to 10 cents. You take the same $1,000, you buy again with that 1,000, you get 10,000 shares. Now you have 13,000 shares with an input of $3,000. You know, human beings love certainty. Hello? Human beings love certainty. That's why you are here for this business conference. You want certainty, huh? You want to go to America, you want to go to South Africa, you want to be on an aeroplane, not on a bus. Certainty. So because the directors and managers of that company, which is falling from $1 to 10 cents, you think they don't want certainty for their jobs? They will fight to make sure that they deliver and the share price goes back to its value. Your money is working for you now. The moment it goes back to 13 cents, the person who had bought with 1,000 and didn't follow up averaging down is still holding 1,000. But you now, you put in 3,000, now you have 13,000 shares. The moment it goes to $1, how much do you have? $18,000. How much did you put? 3,000. What's your profit? $10,000. So the share price was going down, eh? And you thought you were in a loss. You can't make money. You can't make a loss when share prices are going down. So when share prices are going down, what do? We buy more. But this is going down because we're not the lowest. But I'm saying you're an average investor, you don't know. Still, when the share price is going down, you're going down with it. The moment it rises, you sell. So when share prices go up, you make money, you just sell. When they go down, what do? You buy, you make money for a quantity. So where is the loss? No, I'm asking you people. Mindset. Are we together? So there's no way of making a loss on the stock exchange. Then lastly, let me talk about sanctions. So what sanctions do is they deprive the country from operating at its optimum level of operation. Are we together? Unemployment shoots. All these problems you're talking of, money changers, they erupt because people will be doing what they call sanction busting, okay? So we recently saw the United States removing sanctions. And there are a lot of people here running businesses in the country. You need to be very careful because what's coming is international competition. It's no longer business as usual. So for you to survive in your industry, you need to be very solid. Clients-wise, cash flow-wise, balance sheet-wise, process-wise, you need to know how to exactly do what you need to do, and you need to expand and take territory and keep market share and guard it jealously like you do with your spouse. Because it's coming, competition is coming. So when people are sitting in New York there, deciding on which type of way to invest on the country called Zimbabwe, there are two ways in which they invest. The first one, you know it, it's called foreign direct investment. Are we together? Where they come through, they erect roads, physical infrastructure, all this. Then there's something which they also use, which they come and do, which you don't focus on. It's called foreign portfolio investment. This is where they are sitting on their desks. So I'm saying for physical business, you need to be careful because competition is coming. But for us now, when competition is coming, it means an improved GDP, gross domestic product, and the stock exchange is always 60% of the GDP. And as we speak right now, our market capitalization, the value of the stock exchange is 2 billion. So if investors do come in, throw in money, the GDP goes to 100 billion. Stock exchange will be worth 60 billion. So pamuri kumhanya muchibhutsurwa muchibuda mucompetition muchidi tinetiri muchikepe chanowa because the stock exchange will be going up effortlessly. Yes, it can happen effortlessly. That's what I came here to break down. But unfortunately, because of time, I have to cut it here. So ladies and gentlemen, this place you get exponential growth. This place you create wealth. We don't want rich people. No, we want wealthy people. And when you get that wealth, it's one thing getting the wealth and another preserving it. So mold your character. Obviously, Bishop, Apostle will whip you in line. Mold your character. Just because you now have the money does not mean you walk chest up. Mold your character. Control yourself. I was talking to Mkwama Batana as we were preparing to come through. And I said, when skirmishes happen in the country, usually Zimbabwe, Uganda, Rwanda, they deploy what they call anti-riot police. Do you know it? Do you know it? They don't come to smile and say, good afternoon, say, may you please go back home? We're not interested in you on the street. Do they say that, Apostle? They fire tear gas and just the button stick behind your back. Are we correct? And you see the American embassy issuing a statement. We urge the authorities to exercise restraint. Muchishona zvibate zvidzorei simba munaro asi chii zvidzorei. Discipline yourself. That message, when I see it, has nothing to do with people and their backs being running. Actually, it's a when you make that money, discipline yourself. Exercise restraint. Because the Lord has blessed you. Are we together? So it's one thing getting the money and another having the correct environment to keep that money and multiply it. My brother was talking of cash flow. Kweretesa uone. Haidzoki. Chinoita kuti ukweretwe vana yorufamba uchiridza bhoso iripo apo. Handitonopiwa iripo. If you want to preserve a relationship with anyone, don't lend that money because you're going to be in trouble on pursuing it. So keep your resources, let them work for you. And do during working hours. I was impressed by the timing of this conference, of this summit. It's happening on a working day. We're supposed to be working, but we are here. Why? This is more than work, what we're doing here. It's way more than work. For myself, my broker just texted me, your position has grown 15%. As I was sitting there, money working for me. That's what we need to do. And I encourage you to read. They always say if you want to hide something behind a black man, put it in a book. Read. Who moved my cheese? He asked. Very few people rose their hands. You have to read so that you become knowledgeable. and you know what you're saying. Are we together? With that, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you.
Wow, a round of applause for Mr. Nemaongwe. Say, we'll kindly ask you, if you don't mind, if you can quickly just get a few questions because of our time. Anyone who's got a burning question? How many of us do agree that we actually need another session where we actually get into the house of this? We all do. Mr. Nyamayaro say, awesome. Questions, I think we've got one there, that's the another one, so that we just take them all up at once. The second one, can we have a third one, and then we round up? A third one is there. So let's start with the lady over there, and then we get going.
Okay, thank you. So I'm looking for the basics. You said Econet shares went to a lowest of 7 cents, which means even a $10 can buy a share. So what I'm asking is, you said you can go to a stockbroker and anyone can buy a share. So my question is, what do I need? What are the basic requirements that I need to buy shares? As in, do you need an account? Do you need mobile money? How much does the stockbroker fee amount to? Yeah, the basics.
Okay, so for you to buy shares, you definitely need to open an account with registered stockbrokers. They're there on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange website and on the Security and Exchange Commission of Zimbabwe website. So upon approaching a stockbroker of your choice, you need to carry your KYC documents, which is basically your national ID, your proof of residence, and your bank statement, which is stamped by the bank. So you fill in a form with the stockbroker. Then after you fill in the form with the stockbroker, you also fill what they call a CSD account. Those are the forms you fill at any broker of your choice. So that's the documentation needed to open those shares. With the company, you need company documents, you need a resolution, and you also have the KYC of the directors and the contact person who will be doing the investment on behalf of that company. So it's basically your KYC documents, know your customer. Then when it comes to the platforms you use to invest, you've got quite a number of platforms you can use. The first one, you can approach a stockbroker and write them an email, buy me XY shares at this price, then you buy those shares. Same with selling, you can send an email and they will execute on your behalf. Then the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, via the CEO, Mr. Justin Bongi, and his team, Edmond Stolle and the like, have created what they call the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange Direct, ZSE Direct, where you can fund your position through your EcoCash wallet, or from your bank account. The funds credit your account and you can buy from your cell phone, your laptop, or your tab by yourself. There is also C-Trade, where you essentially do the same. C-Trade and ZSE Direct do compete, so you can also open a C-Trade account, you fund it, and you execute your own position from the mobile phone. So this means wherever you are under the sun, as long as you've got access to internet, you can be able to buy and sell shares. Then on your first issue, yes, you can buy shares with $10 because these platforms do allow you to buy shares with $10. But we are not here to do $10. We want to push because it's a gig situation, garbage in, garbage out. What you put, you get. So I'm telling you of Econet, it's going to move from 7 cents to 30 cents. So if you put $10, you're going to get $40. Then I put...
The second question, the second person made a question you've already answered, so we just go straight to the third question.
Thank you very much, sir. I would like to find out, is there any place where formal training is done for people to be widened on their knowledge on trading on the stock exchange? Thank you.
Yes, there is formal training from the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange. They've got an educational department, but in that department they are restricted to only teaching you how to buy shares, how to sell shares, how to open an account, how to deal with any disputes should there be any. So they just teach you those basics because that's what they do. But then for a person of myself, I then went a step further to open that Twitter handle, which has attracted some of my guys here. I see familiar faces. That there now we share practical strategies on what to buy. So the moment you speak, it happens. You speak it into reality. The sermon I've given right now here, this presentation, if tomorrow I just go there and say, right, Econet is right at the lowest because of A, B, C, I put my graphs and my justifications, look at it tomorrow. So there are these platforms as well you can learn. When he was reading my profile, you heard the part where it says I was nominated for advocacy on eBusiness Weekly. So that's the advocacy part where we come in, we see opportunities, and we just show the other guys. And that's exactly what I was talking about exactly when I was warming up. We need to view it from a mindset point of view. So we also have my friends in the brokerage sector. They also offer that kind of advice, but it's not their mandate. Their mandate is to buy and sell shares on your behalf. But the problem, Apostle, is that people are lazy to read. So you'll find these guys end up stepping out of their mandate to do advisory work. But at the end of the day, when you make a loss or a profit, it's yours. So you don't need to blame anybody for your profit or for your loss. But it's best to have that knowledge because there are two ways to fly. Either you're a passenger or you're a pilot. Which one do you choose?
Wow. Thank you so much once again, ladies and gentlemen. Let us give our speaker a round of applause. Come on, we can do better. We can do better. These are some of the things that we came here for, and he delivered, and to that we are grateful. All right. We may all take our seats. There's a term that he used which made me laugh a bit. Hanzi, you know, everyone is there crying out, and then you are there safe in that ark. It is the desire of the visionary of this conference for all of us to actually be in that ark.